Hello everyone, welcome to today's Halloween review. Today's review is going over The Face at the Window, starring Tom Slaughter as Chevalier Lucio Delgado, John Warwick as Lucien Courtier, and Aubrey Malalou as Mademoiselle de Brisson, who I will basically just be referring to as de Brisson, because I'm not saying Mademoiselle the entire time. While no one will really boast about the movie's cast, it does have Tom Slaughter, who is an underrated and, in my opinion, underappreciated actor of his time. I didn't particularly enjoy his performance in Murder in the Red Barn, but that doesn't mean his skills aren't spectacular. He was primarily a stage actor, so his film acting causes him to make Vincent Price look like an understated performer, but I think that's what helps him in most of his roles. He makes his characters pop with exaggerated life that sells the campiness of a movie, even if the movie was supposed to be taken seriously for its time. But enough about my opinions on Slaughter, let's get into the synopsis and review. The movie begins with a quick description of the events that have happened before the movie's start, telling the viewer about a wolf-like creature killing people in London, and how the only thing they see before they die is a terrible face in the window. How anyone knows what the victims saw before they died, since there are no witnesses, is beyond me, but, plot holes at the start of a movie are fun, right? After this, we find Lucien and de Brisson speaking with de Brisson's father about his bank being robbed and how he has to hope that the Chevalier will still do business with his bank. Lucien agrees to hunt down the wolf in exchange for naming his reward, which he intends to be de Brisson. After Lucien leaves, the Chevalier arrives and tells de Brisson's father he will still do business with him and requests permission to ask his daughter for her hand in marriage. De Brisson's father agrees, but says that the decision is ultimately his daughter's. The Chevalier makes his intent known to de Brisson only for her to reject him. The Chevalier then visits some lowlifes in a brothel and hires them to break into the bank and put some of the Spanish coins he stole into Lucien's locker, and then an anonymous note telling de Brisson's father about it. Lucien's locker is checked and he is fired from the bank. The Chevalier tries to have de Brisson's father have him arrested, but the man refuses in the name of his dead friend, who was Lucien's father. Later that night, de Brisson's father is murdered while Lucien is visiting in the hopes of getting his job back. The Chevalier arrives after getting word of the murder and, after gloating over the corpse in private, goads Lucien into striking him so that he can challenge the man to a duel to the death. After Lucien agrees, the Chevalier leaves, and as de Brisson and Lucien mourn over the loss of de Brisson's father, a hand is seen preparing to throw a dagger, but Lucien reacts too quickly and shoots at the hand, causing it to drop the dagger, and the villain escapes. Before the duel, we see the Chevalier once again visit his low-life friends to prepare a rigged pistol for the duel, and during the duel, the pistol doesn't fire. The Chevalier's thugs tie up Lucien and toss him into the river. Returning to the brothel, the Chevalier makes plans to have de Brisson brought there by having one of his men tell her it was Lucien who called her. De Brisson falls for the ruse, and the Chevalier tries to force de Brisson to marry him. Lucien, who is rescued from the river, attempts to rescue de Brisson by wearing a disguise, but the attempt is halted as the police arrive to arrest him. After a quick chase, Lucien manages to escape, and the police have to keep looking for him. We watch as de Brisson comes to the police to announce that Lucien has found a way to reveal who the true killer is with a scientist's method using electricity to force a body to finish its last movements before it died. The police agree, but the Chevalier arrives before anyone and murders the scientist before making his escape. Lucien and de Brisson arrive soon after to find the scientist dead. Lucien sends de Brisson out to stall the police while he prepares a plan. De Brisson, the Chevalier, and the police all enter the lab after Lucien calls them in and tells them that the scientist was writing the name of his killer when he died, and informs them that the electricity will allow the scientist's body to finish writing the name. The Chevalier panics and reveals himself to be the killer, jumping out the window and into the river to escape. The group follows him and chases him down to his hideout, where we find out that the face that everyone sees in the window before they die belongs to a deformed man that the Chevalier has been keeping hidden for years. The deformed man grabs the Chevalier and holds him tight as the cage he's in falls out of the building and into the river below, where they both die. We'll just ignore all the weird plot holes this final scene has and just say thus ends the movie. The Face at the Window is a pretty decent movie. It's filled with basically every maniacal villain trope ever. The face at the window, from which the movie gets its name, shows up like maybe 3 or 4 times in the movie, but is basically never really explained. The movie suggests that there's some sort of werewolf action to be had, but it obviously never pans out, which left me a little disappointed. The movie does showcase some good acting for the era, though Slaughter's villain steals the show with his exaggerated method in every scene he's in. It holds a reputation for being a campy, trope-filled mess, but I personally enjoy it. It has a good story, pulls it off in a decent manner, with an execution that is pretty respectable. Though, to be fair, the entire movie could have gone without the whole face in the window. It adds a certain amount of expectation to the audience that doesn't have any kind of worthwhile payoff. On that note, we'll call that the end for today's review. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving it a like. If you didn't, please give it a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I hope you all have a great day, and remember, stay positive.